Okay, today is July the 1st, 2019, and right now at 9:15 p.m. we have a temperature of 71 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 51%, the dew point is 52 degrees, and the barometric pressure is down at 29.88 inches. All right, so we're looking at the East Pacific rainbow loop, the rainbow map, the infrared map. And this is Hurricane Barbara. This formed today. This was a tropical storm this morning with 70-mile-per-hour winds and a pressure of about 989 millibar. Right now, the storm is Category 2, right here. 100-mile-per-hour winds, sustained winds. We have a central pressure of 979 millibar, and the storm is moving due west at 15 miles per hour. We can see also that over the next several days, this weather system will continue to move in a westerly direction. Now, we have some pretty good shots here of what's happening. This is the East Pacific water vapor loop. We can see that the storm is being targeted by a satellite microwave or laser, probably a microwave. We can see the icicle pattern all along the outer edge. Also, there are some pressure waves that are visible right near the vortex. We'll take a look at that, but this is pretty good evidence of what's going on. This is being targeted with a moderate power level. The weather controllers could easily superheat and destroy that storm in a matter of hours. Looking here at the infrared loop, we can see that an eyewall briefly forms. And next, we're going to take a look at the visible light mode. We can see some activity here where the center of the storm is targeted. We see a large dimple mark where the transmitter, the satellite transmitter, targets the center of that storm. Now, if we stop the loop here and just scroll, we begin to see what happens. Right there, there's a dimple. Right here we see it in the shadow as the day to night transition happens. And then we have the photoshopping, which hides the detail. We can see the pressure waves moving out radially from the center of that storm as this area is being superheated. So much like the cumulonimbus thunderheads are targeted, these large hurricanes and tropical storms can be superheated as well. It just uses much more power, and that disrupts the convective process. Now, if we just let it play, we can see the pressure wave right there on the west side of that storm. These are earlier pressure waves here that happened several hours previous and are a result of the superheating process. If we go back and look at the water vapor map, we can see what happens here. Notice the color change. We have way down here on the scale the purple and blue where the deepest levels of water vapor are in the center of that storm. Now notice what happens after that area is targeted. The pink, the magenta there goes away, and of course the system will rebuild itself. They're hitting this periodically. It's not a continuous power. It's just they're pulsing it. They're targeting it periodically to otherwise this thing would spool up to Category 5 within hours. All right, so let's look at the, once again, there's the infrared loop. We can see that eyewall that briefly forms. We see the icicle pattern here, this pressure wave, this blast pattern. All right, now I want to show a couple of loops. This is from Saturday. Now, those of us that live in Southern California, on Saturday we noticed that there was a lot of cloud cover moving through the not only Southern California but Central California. So this is June 30th. This is Saturday's loop. I saved this because I couldn't do a video on over the weekend. So the reason we had no rain, but yet we had all this hurricane moisture. This is the remnants of Alvin, Hurricane Alvin that blew right over Southern California. I thought all that moisture was going to move out over Baja and out over mainland Mexico, but actually it moved right over Southern California. There was no rain, no precipitation. Now, we could see, looking up through the clouds on Saturday, that the jets were out spraying. Okay, so the aerosols, the chemtrail aerosols, prevented the rain, prevented the precipitation process. On Saturday, we should have had rain that day. This is the remnants of a hurricane blowing right over us, right here. None of this was mentioned on television. But there it is. Okay, so that's why we had no rain. The skies were sprayed over. That prevents the lift, and that prevents the precipitation process. All right, let's get back to the other maps here. We have the northeast Pacific water vapor loop. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. We have interesting things happening. This is the jet stream right here, just dead ending, mushrooming right into an area of high pressure. We've got two low pressures right here, one here and one here. But yet this fast, high-speed moving river of water is just literally being stopped right there where the pen is. Has nowhere to go. This is defying all the laws of physics that we would normally associate with pressure. Higher pressure always flows towards lower pressure. Look what's happening here. It's just mushrooming right there. Some of it's moving over into Alaska. The other is moving back around, wrapping into this low pressure system. Let's go ahead and look at the rainbow map here. We can see what's happening. This whole area is we have high pressure installed, which is blockading this flow pattern to get from getting into these vortexes here. Now this vortex here is not completely blocked. We see some of that moisture wrapping around back into that vortex. We can see that happening here. But over here, this low pressure is blockaded a little bit better than the other one. So we can see that right there. This will never be shown on television. This right here should raise a red flag. Everybody should understand how higher pressure always should flow to lower pressure. And also we have high pressure adjacent to a low pressure vortex. This should never happen. This is just out and out climate control. That's really what this is all about. This has nothing to do with carbon dioxide. That is a lie, a mainstream media lie. The fake news, they're peddling lies left and right. And this is why things are getting kind of out of hand when we look at some of the gun laws that are going into place here in California, the ammunition laws. This is only going to get worse and worse. And when we have people in power, like what we're seeing in the former administration, I'm speaking of the former administration, where the DOJ, the FBI, and the various intelligence agencies were infiltrated with these people, these ciphers that aren't acting in a constitutional manner. We have things to worry about. And on top of that, we have a media which is inciting violence, which is perpetuating a lie, crimes that people didn't commit. These things have to be closely looked at. And believe me, if a government this corrupt ever takes the weapons away from the citizens, the Second Amendment rights away, it's game over. And so we have to be very careful about what's happening. And besides what's happening here, the terrorism of steering hurricanes into Texas and various Gulf cities and also into Florida, and also the global carbon tax that is being foisted on countries around the world. These people are being told that carbon dioxide is a deadly, damaging gas, when in fact carbon dioxide has been around for billions, with a B, billions of years. It's a building block of life. Photosynthesis relies on carbon dioxide. Plants and trees thrive on carbon dioxide, and they give off oxygen, which mammals then breathe in. This is a basic sixth grade science lesson. And the fake news mainstream media is lying about it, like everything else. And I would, if I was in charge, if I was the president, I would move to pull the FCC broadcast licenses of all the major networks that were involved in framing the president and making up fake criminal charges, baseless charges. All right, so tomorrow we're going to see a lot of chemtrail aerosols. We see the moisture approaching Southern California and Central California. We have a no rain forecast. We see the moisture approaching, and there it is. We can see it moving right towards us, and that means that the jets will be up spraying to prevent that rain, prevent the precipitation process. You can see it right here. So we can expect to see the jets up spraying. Now we've got a new moon overnight tomorrow. There's a total lunar eclipse, which will be visible down in South America, I believe, over Argentina. That's tomorrow, so we won't be able to see the aerosols in the skies tonight. But if you look carefully, you might be able to see and hear those jets up spraying. So there it is. We've got aerosols on the way. We can see the moisture moving right towards us. We've got a no rain forecast, and of course, we know what that means. All right, let's look at we have the jet stream map right here. Most of the activity is out over the West Pacific, mushrooming into those two lows out over here, and then we have some high-speed flow over the northern part of the country. Looking at the Doppler map is now AWOL, so we'll have to wait. Come back to that here in a second. Okay. This is really amazing, though. This everybody should be paying attention to what's happening here. This flow pattern should be moving right towards these vortexes. This is the lowest pressure points in these areas, and so you would expect to see all that weather moving right towards these lows, but that's not happening. Got this vortex blockaded. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on Hurricane Barbara in the meantime, and this is a Category 2, 100-mile-per-hour sustained winds. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll just leave it right here. We can see the blast pattern. We can see the eyewall briefly form, and then becomes superheated, and we lose that eyewall. Okay, we'll just leave it right here. That's it.